Ah. I can't contain the power. These hands, they're powerful. They know so much. They know so much. Why? Because I've mastered so much. I have self-mastery. Self-mastery. I think that's a pretty antiquated term. I don't know if it holds up. I don't know if it holds up in today's world. Why? Well, there's a lot of reasons why I don't think self-mastery holds up. I know where it comes from. You know, we're a society, we're a culture that really cares about glory. We're pretty vain in that sense. You know, we're all about winners, and we assume that people that win have a mastery over themselves and the situation and everyone else. And so, yeah, a lot of our understandings are kind of boiled up into power structures. And even when it comes down to how much power I have over myself, you are a subordinate. You are subordinate. But who am I talking to, right? Subordinate to who? Me? It's confusing. So it's not about self-mastery. In regards to me, I'm a dancer, right? And there are certain things that I've become proficient at, and there's other things that I probably need a lot more work on. To say that I've mastered the things that I'm good at would suggest that the journey is over. There's nothing more to gain. And I just don't believe that. And maybe when people are referring to mastery, they're talking very specifically about that one moment, that one temporal moment that's not going to last beyond itself. Okay, fine. That instant, fine. You've mastered that thing based on your understanding of yourself and the world in that moment. Fine, okay. But really, I'd rather not stand on that flimsy foundation. I'd rather stand on something that has more longevity. I think a better way to think about this in general is self-understanding, self-consciousness. I think it's also important to consider the fact that current science, current neuroscience suggests that we don't even have free will. Free will is false, right? Our perception of it is false. It all comes down to our nervous system and chemicals and hormones and really what we've been conditioned into doing. So even me speaking right now, it's not necessarily that I'm making a choice to say the words that I'm saying. There's a whole symphony of reactions that are going on in my body that cause specific neurons to fire and specific words and expressions to come out based on my hormonal composition at the moment. In any circumstance where we find ourselves able to compliment someone for something that they're doing well, that person is really the product of conditioning, the product of being consistent with whatever it is that they do. And so it's not as glorified of a view of success, but I think it's more realistic. Furthermore, I think that it's important to appreciate what's happening in us as we grow in our practices. The benefits are far, far beyond and more critical and more important than notions of mastery. For instance, in my practice of dance, I've learned a lot about my fears. I've learned a lot about my learning process. So how do I learn things? You know, and this is stuff that academic school wasn't able to teach me. Really, I learned a lot about learning through the practice of dance. And there's a lot more that I've gained. I've learned a lot about communicating. Through the practice, there are all these awarenesses that are opening up. There are all these pathways and channels of self-understanding that have been presented to me through my journey with dance. And I'm sure the same thing is happening with anyone in whatever craft that any person might be involved in. So we're not mastering anything. We're just getting good at being consistent, showing up, automating. And that's not as flashy. It's not as cool as master yourself. Walk through the flame. No, it's not as cool as that, but it's what's really happening. And I think if we are able to view our practices in this way, it'll allow us to stay with them for longer, because it makes for an endless journey. Get out of here, self-mastery, and get in here, self-understanding. These hands though, they got knowledge, they know things. They know things.